Welcome to Tribute Temple Ascension. This is a quick review of gameplay going through one round. There are 5 players, but we'll skip through 3 of the players and only focus on the first and second player. This game has been set up for a 5-player game. Please see the previous video on how to set up Tribute. Each player gets to take 3 different actions, one at a time. Number 1 is move and tribute. Number 2 is gather. Number 3 is trade and draw or play a tile. To start the game, players will rotate the sundial from the green glowing sphere to the action 1 month in clockwise motion. Note that the yellow tip is on action 2 and the red tip is on action 3. The green triangle tip keeps time and will rotate month to month after each round. Purple player has the first player marker and the active player marker token, so he will go first. His first action will be action number 1. He takes the pawn and places it over the action 1 space. Purple player then looks at the sundial on the green tip pointing to action 1. He has 2 purple tokens and can take the move action and move a total of 2 spaces. Purple has 1 tribal leader and 2 workers on his tribal village. He moves the tribal leader and 1 worker to the adjacent corn tile for a total of 2 moves. Purple's turn is over and he passes the active player token to green player. Green decides to take action 2 and places the pawn over the action 2 space on her board. Green then looks at the sundial and notes she has 2 tokens on the yellow tip pointing to action 2. This allows green to gather on 2 different tiles. Green has 2 workers on her tribal village and a tribal leader on wood. Green decides to gather on the wood tile by taking 3 wood from the supply and removing the tribal leader from the map back to her play area with the wood. Green now focuses her attention on the tribal village and the tribal worker mat. Since there are 2 open spaces on the tribal village, both workers may work on the village worker mat. Green notices lava skill and storehouse skill worker actions are open. She decides to send her workers to those spots. Green now has to pay for the skills. She notes on her player mat that the lava skill takes 1 corn and 1 wood to unlock skill level 1. She removes the token on lava skill level 1 and pays the corn and wood to the bank. Green now has to put the previously removed token on the sundial. She chooses red tip as it only has 1 token on it. All 3 sundial tips now have 2 tokens each. She then pays for the storehouse skill. The cost noted on the player mat is 1 corn, 1 wood, and 1 fish. She removes the token from skill level 1 and pays the goods to the bank. Green then puts the previously removed storehouse token onto the yellow tip of the sundial, increasing it from 2 tokens to 3. This ends Green's turn and she passes the active player token clockwise. The next 3 players take their turns. We skip the next 3 players for ease of explanation. Gameplay continues until it reaches Purple again for his second turn this round. Purple decides to take action 2, gather. He places the pawn over the space on his board. He then looks at the yellow tip of the sundial pointing to action 2 and notes 2 purple tokens. This allows him to gather on 2 tiles. Purple previously moved his workers onto the corn tile and left 1 worker on his tribal village. Purple gathers on the corn tile first. The tribal leader gathers 3 corn, the worker gathers 2 corn, and each corn tile touching gathers 1 each for a total of 7 corn. He removes the workers and the corn back to his play area. Blue would score 1 point for owning the tile gathered on. Purple now gathers on his tribal village. There are 2 open spots that could be used. He has only 1 worker on the tile, so he sends his worker to the travel skill action on the village worker mat. Note that if he wanted to use lava or storehouse skill, he would have had to play his worker on copy player action and pay 5 coin to do so. Purple now has to pay for the travel skill. The cost on the player mat is 1 corn, 1 fish, and 1 stone. Purple pays the cost to the bank and removes the token and 1 extra worker from the board. Purple must place the token on the sundial and chooses the green tip, increasing the tokens to 3. He then places the newly acquired worker onto the tribal village. This worker is available to use immediately. However, since Purple already gathered on the village tile, his action 2 is over. If he still had action 1 move available, he could move the worker on his next turn. Purple's turn is over and he passes the active player token to Green. Green decides to take action 3, trade and tile. Green looks at the sundial and notes 2 green tokens there. This means she can trade at the market using 1 token and draw or play a tile using the second token. She decides to trade at the market first. She looks at her goods and coins, noting the 17 coin. Green looks back at the market and wants to buy stone, which is 5 coin each. She can buy up to 2 stones since she has 2 tokens on the Sundial action tip number 3, and does so for a total of 10 coin. Green then moves the market stone all the way to the top at 9 coin and shifts corn and fish down 1 spot. She takes the 2 stones and puts them in her play area. Green could also sell her fish if she chooses to, but does not want to at this time. Green notes that since she has 2 tokens on action 3, she can also draw a tile or play a tile. She decides that she wants to play her wood tile. She looks at the map and can place the wood tile anywhere as long as it touches at least 2 tiles. She places the wood tile next to the white-controlled wood tile and a distant village. After looking at the sundial, she wants to claim the wood tile and notes there are 3 tokens on the yellow tip pointing to action 2. She pulls off one of the tokens from the yellow tip and then she places it on the wood tile she just placed out, showing that she claimed it. Green's turn is over and we skip over the other 3 people's turn, and now it's Purple's turn. He takes the active player marker. He places the pawn on action 3 on his board to take the action. He looks at the sundial and notes only 1 token on the red tip of the sundial. He must choose between using the market or taking the tile action. Purple decides to use the market. Since he only has 1 token on the sundial, he can only buy and sell in a quantity of 1. He first sells his 1 wood for 3 coin. Since wood is already at its lowest value, it does not move. He returns the wood to the bank supply and takes the 3 coins in his play area. Note that he now has 8 coin. Purple now wants to buy fish. He pays 5 coin to take 1 fish. He then moves the fish market to the top at 9 coin and moves stone and corn down 1 spot. Purple takes the fish and puts into his play area. This ends his turn and all his actions have been taken. Purple passes the active player marker to Green, and Green takes his last action 1 move and tribute. Green places the pawn on the action 1 space. Unfortunately, Green does not have any workers on the map tiles and therefore cannot do any moves or tributing. We again skip players 3, 4, and 5 for ease of explanation, and this ends the first round of actions for all players. Before starting the next round, rotate the sundial clockwise 1 month so that the green tip is now pointing to action 2. Place all the workers on the village worker mat and any workers that gathered on any goods tiles back on the map to any personally controlled village. This can be a tribal village or a previously claimed village tile. Players may split up where workers go or place all of them on 1 village. Note that blue players still had workers on the map from the previous round, and they stay on the current tiles on the map. If any tributes were made during the previous round, replace them from the draw pile of tribute cards. Leave the unused tribute cards there. The only time all the tribute cards are replaced is after year 1 and year 2 are over. Transfer the first player marker and active player marker clockwise. In this case, it would move to green. Each player removes the pawns off their player mats, showing that each action is now available this next round. Green would then start the next round by taking one of the actions. Players keep playing rounds until enough tributes have been made for the year to end. The number needed is decided at the beginning of the game and can be found in the gameplay section of the rules. Please see end of year video explanation. This ends the video explanation of gameplay. Please see additional videos explaining in-depth rules of the game. Thanks for watching.